doing a little short conversation with a couple of whiz kids from CoStar, Trent Turner and Michael Poole. Michael's in charge of marketing, Trent is in charge of the research. And wanted to bring to you some information on the demographics of the Atlanta metro area. And Michael is going to in turn talk a little bit about what those demographics mean to buyers and sellers of commercial real estate. So let's start with Trent. And if you would, Trent, just talk a little bit about the demographics, from a macro standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, when you're looking at it at commercial real estate from all vantage points, whether you're an investor, whether you're a broker, at any point, looking at the particular demographics for that market is vital. For Metro Atlanta, it's a positive story. We have a lot of structural advantages. We're seeing job growth well above that national average. We're seeing population growth well above that national average. And really what drives a lot of our population growth is in-migration. So what the Census Bureau does, it looks at each market and looks at who's coming in and who's leaving, and births and deaths as well. And then that's how they derive population growth. For Atlanta, most of that population growth is in-migration. So we're seeing a strong in-migration from those coastal metros. So think New York, think Boston, think Washington, D.C., as well as Florida. Florida is one of the number one spots where people are moving to from and to Atlanta. So really, for Atlanta, it's a positive story in terms of overall population growth and demographics. We also have been looking at the education of Atlanta. So Atlanta is very educated. It's a very educated city and metropolitan area. For the city itself, around half or 50% of the entire population of the city of Atlanta holds a bachelor's degree or more. So that's well above the national average, which sits around 33%. Metro area is the same story as well, around 35% hold a bachelor's degree or more. And that's really important and vital for your Class A demand for office, as tenants and companies look for office space, and multifamily demand as people move here. So Atlanta's a great story in terms of demographics and bringing in a lot of people from around the nation and from around the world as well.
Absolutely, and how that affects buyers and sellers in the Atlanta metro, from my perspective, is especially speaking about multifamily, right? That's my background. I come from that industry, and I know that Atlanta is a multifamily hub, for the country. There is a lot of interest and intrigue from buyers and investors from all over the country, New York, Boston, a lot of areas that Trenton mentioned. And there's a variety of different reasons. One, because to Trenton's point, there's a lot of demand and there's been a lot of build from multifamily, which just makes it rich, especially from an investment standpoint. Second, there's a price difference, of course, when it comes to the multifamily product in the Atlanta metro, and that's very attractive to a lot of investors, especially given the demographics and the population trends and things of that nature. So, putting it back to the product, CoStar having that information, having that owner information, and having that, those really rich analytics on a property level, on a micro level, really allow investors and buyers throughout the country to really have full transparency into the market, to be able to see everything. There's nothing that's not uncovered anymore. So we're seeing a lot of activity when it comes to buyers and investors moving into the Atlanta metro area, and especially now. There is, in fact, a couple of guys that I've spoken with over the last few weeks, especially with COVID-19, is we are seeing a holding pattern, in a sense, of buyers with money and capital just ready to pounce, right? Because they're waiting maybe another 60 to maybe 120 days for some of these prices to soften a bit, and they're going to make their move. So I would definitely, in my opinion, from what I'm hearing, I would see you're going to start to see a lot more acquisition in the Atlanta metro area over the next, I'd say, 3 to 4 months. Would you agree with that, Trenton?
Yeah. We saw that significant slowdown at first in terms of investment, but definitely agree with you there, Michael. You could see that really start to pick up because the structural advantages of Atlanta are there and will be there for years to come.
Well, thank you guys for a quick short on the market itself and some of the ways in which the demographics impact our particular and unique market. You've been listening to an interview with Trent Turner and Michael Poole of CoStar, and I'm Lou Wieland with KW Commercial. Thank you very much for listening, and have a great day.